Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of DGS. Today, in this video, we are covering the third Randst magazine episode with Naruhodo and Susato. They are going to be seeing the Chief Justice in this episode, and I believe this is... this one actually talks about different Japanese policies and laws, really weird stuff they had back then, so... it's kind of a historical kind of episode, in a sense. It's February 26, 9:17 a.m., the Inns of Court, the Chief Magistrate's office. Ooh, here we are again.
The atmosphere in here seems even crisper than usual today, and it feels as though it might freeze a person solid.
Usually at this time, we're eating breakfast with everyone in Home-san's room.
But one of your duties in return for your exchange student status is to give a report after you finish a case. It can't be avoided.
So, yeah, this is after case 3 or after case 4? Well, that's true. I guess I should have expected this quiet, somber atmosphere here in the morning.
Indeed. The only thing we've heard since entering the room is that large clock's inner workings, precisely keeping track of the time.
That doesn't sound like a TikTok.
I wonder what that could be. I hear some unpleasant racket mixed in with the pleasant sound of the clockwork all of a sudden.
You're right. There's definitely some sort of harsh noise mixed in with the orderly rhythm of the clock. It's like the pitiful, hard breathing of a tired, middle-aged man who's been running around. That's really specific. Who are you calling pitiful? Gregson. Oh, it's you, Detective Gregson. What brings you here? Okay, so it's gotta be after case 4 then. What do you mean, what? You can clearly tell by looking. 58 seconds remaining, Detective. Gah! We can chat later, exchange student.
Good morning, Chief Magistrate Vortex.
He's glaring coldly down at his watch. Hello there, folks. You sure are keen this morning. Yes, sir. The other day,
We brought the case against Natsumi Soseki to a close, so we came to deliver our report.
Ah, you're referring to that Japanese man. I heard Von Zeke's report. What the heck are you doing, Gregson? I guess you're looking for something for Vortex, cause even I hadn't anticipated the outcome of that trial. You have my gratitude for a job well done.
We deeply appreciate your kind words.
It's gone! It's not here, nor there. It's not even over there. What has Detective Gregson so riled up? He's been running around the bookshelves this whole time, his face white as a sheet. He's searching for a certain book. 1. Tale of the Lion's Mane. Lion's Mane. I've heard of that one. Very recently, even. It's said to be a rather popular novel, so I borrowed it from a booklender's. But I found it quite unappealing and quickly gave up on reading it. When my gaze fell upon the bookshelf, I noticed an open space just wide enough to fit a single book into. Oh my god. So I slipped it in. Unfortunately, I can't recall which shelf I set it in. Is this entire bookshelf alphabetized? Oh my god. I can't find it! It's not here either! Tale of the Lion's Mane is nowhere to be found! It's still back at the booklender's today. I've entrusted the locating of the book to Detective Gregson. He had 5 minutes.
I believe that this is the first time in my life that I've witnessed a gentleman searching so frantically for a book.
Well, his pay rides on it after all. It's only natural that he should be frantic. Let's not forget that the one who decided to put his pay on the line was this chilled-faced chief magistrate. Was there some reason that you chose to give him 5 minutes? No, I'm afraid that's just my cruel amusement rearing its ugly head. Oh my god, he even admits it!
You sure admitted that readily.
It's no use! My feet! Oh, my feet! 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Time's up, detective. Ah! You have hereby lost your rights to next month's salary and days off. Ow! Poor Gregson. But wow, what an amazing collection of books. It's a little overwhelming. Indeed, I have purchased every book related to law, antiquated or modern, Eastern or Western. Honestly, a few decades ago, something like this would have been unheard of.
What do you mean by unheard of?
When I was a lad, no one bought books. Well, yeah, they're pretty expensive, especially European books, because they're leather-bound and time-consuming to create. Not because of that.
Huh?
It was because of the paper tax. Tax on paper? Well, it was abolished about 30 years ago, but it was quite a high tax considering it was on paper. Naturally, the average citizen couldn't afford books because of it.
Ah, then the book lenders you mentioned earlier.
Indeed. It's a remnant from the days when the paper tax was still charged. As far as the general populace is concerned, books are meant to be borrowed. There is a clandestine book lender's shop here in London with a collection of some 3,500,000 books.
I doubt anyone could read that many books unless they were given 10,000 lifetimes to do so.
Even I borrow books that I doubt I'll finish from that shop. Speaking of taxes, a rather surprising one came up during our last case. Soseki-san's room had the windows filled in to avoid having to pay window tax. Ah, the window tax was finally abolished some 40 years ago, but it seems that there are still quite a few houses remaining in the East End without windows. This country has always had a habit of taxing the damnedest things. There's been a tax on nearly everything at some point, from sugar and salt to tea, coffee, candles, and even beards. What was that last one? Did you say beards? Yeah, there was a beard tax. Haven't you heard of it? No. Why would they charge someone for growing a beard? Who knows? Perhaps because they make a man look smarmy. Ooh. I'll make it a house rule in the Naruhodo family that no one is allowed to grow a beard. Well, Phoenix kind of broke that because did kind of grow a bit of a stubble when he became a hobo Phoenix. Well, naturally, the beard tax has been abolished by now. Even so, you Britons seem rather fond of it. Paying taxes, I mean. It's obviously the opposite, no matter how you look at it. Either way, we never had such strange tax in Japan. Right, Susato-san? She's about to correct you, Sonny.
It seems that, unfortunately, that's not entirely true.
No way. Don't tell me we had window tax or anything like that.
No, but we did have some that were similarly ridiculous. For example, during the Edo period, there was something known as a frontage tax. Frontage tax? Not on windows, but on entryways. It seems that the width of one's entryway determined the amount of tax charged. Because of that, mansions with narrow entryways remain to this day.
Huh. Honestly, you Japanese. But still, at least we never charged tax or something like a beard.
You're right, there hasn't been. Yes, not a tax. What do you mean, not a tax? There was no tax because apparently men were flat out forbidden to grow beards by the Bakufu.
Forbidden? Growing a beard? Bakufu. I think it's Bakufu, not Bakufu.
The law was known as the Great Beard Ban. Naturally, this was during the Edo period.
Why were they forbidden to grow beards? Must be because they make a man look smarmy, like I said.
It seems that people in power, whether they're from the East or West, have similar ways of thinking. Incidentally, even in the Meiji era, there have been some strange taxes.
Really?
This was before either of us were born, but there used to be a rabbit tax.
Rabbits? Like the cute little animals who make mochi on the moon?
Yes, it seems that rabbits were taxed so heavily it would make your head spin.
Why would they choose something so nonsensical?
The capital city, now open to the rest of the world in Meiji era, was hit hard by an unprecedented rabbit boom.
A boom?
Owning rabbits became highly fashionable, and new breeds were being exchanged for exorbitant prices. It seems that some people even went bankrupt after finding themselves victims of a colored rabbit fraud.
Like colored chicks. You mean like the colored chicks at the fair? Yeah, exactly, Naruto. Something superficially peaceful sounding about that. Going bankrupt because of a rabbit.
The rabbit tax was established in response to that social phenomenon.
I see. I guess the people in charge wouldn't overlook something like that, huh?
As a result, the rabbit boom came to a sudden halt. After 6 years, the rabbit tax was abolished.
I guess even our country can be a strange one.
By the way, it goes without saying that the backlash to the repeal of the rabbit tax was that the capital was ravaged by a second rabbit boom.
People really love their rabbits. I guess Meiji people don't learn their lessons either, huh? The way a person views the world depends on their position. If one is in the position to make change within their country, they feel an incredible hunger for money. True. Without stable revenue, a country will fall into ruin. I guess you're right, but... That's precisely why the ministers of the world have racked their brains for inventive new taxes to wring from their citizens. Inventive? Mr. Naruhodo, let's pretend for a moment that you were a minister of this country. Me? A minister? What would you have a tax on? Make it something fresh and inventive. You have 5 seconds to answer.
It should be something that most citizens use frequently. That would be the most effective way to wring money from them.
Your eyes have a funny glint in them, Susato-san. I feel like you're just gonna give Vortex ideas. Time's up. Let's hear your answer, Mr. Naruhodo. Air, maybe? Yeah, what about air? An air tax, eh?
That's Naruhodo-sama for you. What an inventive and devilish idea.
Seriously, that's really dark. The citizens have to breathe air, so let's take their money as easily as breathing. Are you planning to be a supreme ruler or something? It's certainly an extreme approach, but unfortunately, I can't say it's particularly inventive. What do you mean?
Surely you don't mean that an air tax already exists.
Such a tax was already drafted by the Minister of Finance in our neighboring country, France, during the previous century. Eh? France must be a terrifying place. Well, he met violent opposition from the citizens and ended up scrapping it, though. I guess there was more dialogue for Vortex, but it was like, needless to say, he didn't stay in the minister's seat for very long before it was jerked out from under him.
Huh. I suppose that was the natural conclusion for it to reach.
The citizens must have been pretty scared. Would you quit repeating the word citizen so casually?
By the way, what would you tax, Gregson-sama?
Oh, let's see. What about objections?
Duh?
Lately, there's a certain defense attorney who's been raising all sorts of irritating objections, see? So how about an objection tax?
Ow, that's mean. I can't help feeling completely and personally singled out.
For every objection raised, a tax of 5 pence will be charged. I see. That sounds rather amusing. There's something terribly wrong about the head of the legal branch nodding to something like that. Now then, you're up next.
What do you mean?
I think it's fairly obvious. My copy of The Tale of the Lion's Mane.
Eh?
It's undoubtedly on one of the bookshelves in this room. I'll give you 10 minutes. I bet it's sitting on a table. If you don't find it before the time is up, you'll have to forfeit next month's exchange student stipend.
Why?
Objection.
Ikiari.
Well, let's begin. Oh, and one more thing. I believe you said objection. Eh? Set your 5 pence there before you start searching for the book. Please don't wring change out of a poor exchange student. That was it. Oh yeah, if you like your history buff, that is it. Episode 3, the history of taxes in Britain and Japan. We shall continue into episode 4 in the next video. I'll see you guys then. Kind of a historical kind of episode, in a sense. It's February 26, 9:17 a.m., the Inns of Court, the Chief Magistrate's office. Ooh, here we are again.
The atmosphere in here seems even crisper than usual today, and it feels as though it might freeze a person solid.
Usually at this time, we're eating breakfast with everyone in Home-san's room.
But one of your duties in return for your exchange student
Then. What do you mean, what? You can clearly tell by looking. 58 seconds remaining, Detective. Ah! We can chat later, exchange student.
Good morning, Chief Magistrate Vortex.
He's glaring coldly down at his watch. Hello there, folks. You sure are keen this morning.
Status is to give a report after you finish a case. It can't be avoided.
So, yeah, this is after case 3 or after case 4? Well, that's true. I guess I should have expected this quiet, somber atmosphere here in the morning.
Indeed. The only thing we've heard since entering the room is that large clock's inner workings, precisely keeping track of the time.
That doesn't sound like a TikTok.
I wonder what that could be. I hear some unpleasant racket mixed in with the pleasant sound of the clockwork all of a sudden.
You're right. There's definitely some sort of harsh noise mixed in with the orderly rhythm of the clock. It's like the pitiful, hard breathing of a tired, middle-aged man who's been running around. That's really specific. Who are you calling pitiful? Gregson. Oh, it's you, Detective Gregson. What brings you here? Okay, so it's gotta be after case 4. Hello everybody, and welcome back to another episode of DGS. Today, in this video, we are covering the third Randst magazine episode with Naruhodo and Susato. They are going to be seeing the Chief Justice in this episode, and I believe this is... this one actually talks about different Japanese policies and laws, really weird stuff they had back then, so... It's